guys, here we are for the second bow hunt of 2025 already. And right off the bat, I'm just gonna say this is definitely my favorite YouTube video over all of the years after all of the videos that I've made. Before we dive in, I just want to say a massive thank you to my parents for making this hunt possible. I will legitimately never forget this hunt for the rest of my life. Really don't know how I could, considering it's on video. But you guys are not going to want to miss this one. You know, this hunt was so unexpected, and for the first few hours it was such a bland hunt. I mean, I didn't even see a squirrel, but the absolute piles of whitetail that come walking into the hunting area around the end of this video, and the two very specific ones that we haven't even had on camera, turned this hunt into an emotional roller coaster for me. Now, I mean, several different factors kind of played into that. I'm not going to spoil too much of what happens right off the bat, but let's just say I was at one of the lowest points that I've been in weeks during this hunt, and then 5 minutes later, I was the happiest that I've been since last deer season. And this hunt is definitely, like I said, one that I will never forget. I'm so glad I was able to document it onto YouTube here. And as someone who hunts in an area that is so pressured, and so many people hunt, whether that be kids, first-timers, yada yada, deer struggle to live older than 2 years here, so being able to take down a buck this size 3 years in a row at this point is a massive blessing. And even though that it's not a 250-inch drop tine typical, this is still more of a trophy than I could have ever wanted. Without further ado, my friends, let's go ahead and dive into today's video. Now, I don't know what it was about this hunt. I don't know if that was motivation from the whole week prior of making YouTube videos. For those of you guys that don't know, I make content on a hunting simulator, so frankly, I can hunt all year round from the comfort of my own home. But anyways, from the moment that I sat down with my camera mount actually working properly this time, the perfect temperature of not too cold and not too hot, a nice breeze, the smells of the woods, it always gets really easy to breathe. And as I mentioned, for the first few hours, we didn't see anything. But I don't know what it was that, didn't even affect my mood whatsoever. I mean, last hunt we had turkeys walking through, lots of different occurrences like that. But I know after hunting for, I believe, 8 or 9 years this year, prime time is right when the sun begins to set. And speaking of that, the sun is just in the perfect spot to get some beautiful lens flares. Some of this footage that I got was even stunning to look at in the moment through my phone screen. And it was at this point in the hunt, right as I mentioned, as soon as the sun started to get low enough to where the lens flares weren't showing up as good, out walks the first deer of the hunt, which is in fact a buck. Not just any buck, a buck that we don't have on camera yet. And if you have some really good eyes, despite the fact that the camera's out of focus because it's very dim lighting, you'll notice that there's not one, but now, my friends, 2 bucks. Yet another one that we don't have on camera yet. As soon as I noticed that I had 2 choices here, I was immediately trying to see their racks. Mind you, in person, it's much clearer. They're only about 20 yards away, and I was immediately trying to figure out which one I wanted to target. As I was watching these bucks and later confirmed that they are both 8 points upon looking through the scope of my crossbow, I started to hear some rustling off to my left, and then the obvious sounds of multiple deer walking in. Now as you can see, these deer are just fawns, and as far as I was aware in the moment, I thought the fawns were the only ones walking in. Well, turns out Squid was wrong. Now in the moment that you just seen those bucks kind of go alert there, I was adjusting my crossbow so that way I could best shoot one, and I actually flipped the safety switch. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not, and little did I know, off to my left, there was a doe watching her babies walk in. And well, she was watching me and probably seen me move in broad daylight, and most likely communicated to all of the other deer in the area through wagging her tail aggressively that there's something wrong, but I'm not sure what's wrong yet. It was in this moment that I felt a mass amount of devastation, to the point where I almost wanted to cry, but I knew that they didn't spook fully. None of the deer stomped, none of the deer blew at us. In fact, neither of the fawns actually fully spooked. The one is just completely clueless because it's extremely young. The slightly older fawn kinda did a circle around almost, like what the heck's going on, what are we running from? Probably also completely clueless of the situation. And I firmly believe if it wasn't for these fawns, none of the deer would have came back tonight. That's always how they treat the youngest ones. The youngest ones just stay in the area, and the older ones sit and watch. And I mean, they watched for probably 30 to 45 minutes. So that way the big deer know that it's relatively safe, because nothing happened to the fawns, to come back into the hunting area. And sure enough, after about 30 minutes, my heart just racing with adrenaline the whole time, one of the bucks decided it was safe to come back. He caught wind of us, and once again our camouflage was good enough to where he couldn't see us, and at this point I've definitely taken note that I'll shoot either of the bucks that give me a shot, but I know what one's bigger, and it's the darker colored one. They're both 8 points, but one of the 8 points has really skinny short tines, and the other one has a very well defined rack. Not a giant, but definitely in my eyes more than a shooter. It's so funny, even just when watching this back while editing, remembering those bucks pretty much telling those fawns to get the heck out of my way. That's kind of why a few clips back you've seen the fawns jump kind of randomly. That's the bucks communicating to them and saying that, get out of my way, I'm coming through here. And then, after about 20 minutes of standing around with no shots, for some reason they go alert once again. This was by far the climax of this hunt. So freaking tense, I was shaking like crazy, and I genuinely thought this hunt was over. I mean, they've spooked so many times, but I just kept pushing. I didn't move a muscle, with daylight running out on me, and with the younger buck already fleeing from the area, and the bigger buck just about to spook. He took a step out, perfectly broadside to me. A little bit further than 20, but I had that in mind. My friends, it was meant to be. It was a good, clean, and ethical double lung shot. I aimed just a tiny little bit high, as you can see in the slow motions there. Just in case. I mean, he was closer to that 30-yard mark, but honestly, he couldn't have been any further than 22 or 23. Still a beautiful, ethical shot, and I could not be any more thankful to be able to harvest this buck today.
I think so. Just went down. That was tense. The bigger one. That was the wonky one. That was the wonky one. Oh, that was crazy.
And as the sun starts to come down, I want to tell you guys, please keep in mind that this video is intended for educational and documentary purposes only. All hunting shown was conducted legally, safely, and ethically. No scenes are shown to promote violence or harm. The purpose of this content is to educate viewers about wildlife management, conservation, and responsible hunting practices. As the sun went down in well over an hour since I shot the deer, we went back to the truck, put the crossbow away, safely in its case, came back out and began to track the deer. Now, I'm not going to show too much of this process on YouTube. I will say, the deer ran 85 yards roughly, and once we found it, you would not believe what was on our deer.
There's a skunk on the deer. What? That's like some piece of plastic or something. How did this skunk get there?
We want to eat.
What?
Hey, get out of here. Get out of here, you son of a. Shine your light right on it.
We need the new 22 mag. That's what we need. 8 point?
Yep, nice one.
And with that, we took care of the skunk without harming it, or better yet, without it harming us, and we got the buck out to the trail.
Alrighty, Squid Gang, my friends. There he is. I love the hooks in the front. I love those hooks in the front. Look how it hooks in like that. You can't really see it from this angle. There you go. Definitely, I would say close to one of the biggest. It's not bigger than my great big long tine 8 point, but I love how they hook like that. Love how the tip to tip here bends in like that. I mean, look at the ridge on that. Look at that. I just noticed that. Wow. That's a really well defined ridge. I've never, if there's one on this side, there is. I can't squeeze it, but there's definitely one there. That's a solid buck, my friends. Don't know if we can show that on YouTube. Might have to blur it, but I'll just point. That's the shot. And there we go. That's the first buck down, guys. The first buck of the year is down. Thank you, Jesus.
Get it as close to the tailgate as I can. Get behind the truck.
Keep coming. Slow. All right. Man, talk about a tense hunt. Oh my gosh. That had to have been, I mean, I stopped recording multiple times and I'm probably going to cut it a lot while editing, but that had to have been 45 minutes, dang near an hour of just sitting there. And I mean, my foot was in the most awkward position ever. My butt was killing me. I mean, I locked eyes with those bucks for probably an hour or two to the point where we were bonding, man. Like, I'm genuinely surprised they didn't trust me at that point.
It's almost done there.
I did.
Watch it, man. It's almost done. Try to touch it with his paw.
And that, my friends, is gonna wrap up this hunt. Definitely a very successful takedown. I am very happy to have this buck. I'm so thankful. I'm actually gonna neck mount it, so as soon as I get my taxidermy back, I plan to do a trophy lodge tour and maybe tell some stories of the bucks that are in there that I'm sure you guys would all like to see. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely let me know down below by smashing that like button and subscribing, as it is very much appreciated. And with that, thank you guys all truly so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, my friends.